Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 verse 17. Apuryamanam achala pratishtham samudramapah pravishanti yadvat tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve Sashantimapnoti na kamakami. Apuryamanam, always filled. Achala pratishtham, steadily situated. Samudram, the ocean. Apah, water. Pravishanti, enter. Yadvat, as. Tadvat, so. Kamah, desires. Yam, unto one. Pravishanti, enter. Sarve, all. Saha, that person. Shantim, peace. Apnoti, achieves. Na, not. Kamakami, one who desires to fulfill desires. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Tattvavit dāsa Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation: a person who is not disturbed by the incessant flow of desires that enter like rivers into the ocean, which is ever being filled but is always still, can alone achieve peace, and not the man who strives to satisfy such desires. Please repeat. A person who is not disturbed by the incessant flow of desires that enter like rivers into the ocean, which is ever being filled but is always still, can alone achieve peace, and not the man who strives to satisfy such desires. Purport: although the vast ocean is always filled with water, it is always, especially during the rainy season, being filled with much more water. But the ocean remains the same, steady. It is not agitated, nor does it cross beyond the limit of its brink. That is also true of a person fixed in Krishna consciousness. As long as one has the material body, the demands of the body for sense gratification will continue. The devotee, however, is not disturbed by such desires because of his fullness. A Krishna conscious man is not in need of anything because the Lord fulfills all his material necessities. Therefore, he is like the ocean, who always full in himself. Desires may come to him like the waters of the rivers that flow into the ocean, but he is steady in his activities, and he is not even slightly disturbed by desires for sense gratification. That is the proof of a Krishna conscious man, one who has lost all inclinations for material sense gratification, although the desires are present. Because he remains satisfied in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, he can remain steady like the ocean and therefore enjoy full peace. Others, however, who fulfill desires even up to the limit of liberation, what to speak of material success, never attain peace. The fruitive workers, the salvationists, and also the yogis who are after mystic powers are all unhappy because of unfulfilled desires. But the person in Krishna consciousness is happy in the service of the Lord, and he has no desires to be fulfilled. In fact, he does not even desire liberation from the so-called material bondage. The devotees of Krishna have no material desires, and therefore they are in perfect peace. It's a very beautiful verse from the Bhagavad Gita. The analogy is also given perfectly. So a very important word here is kamakami. You see how it is translated. One who desires to fulfill desires. So kama is desire, material desire for sense gratification. So what is the difference between a materialist and a spiritualist? It is stated here that a materialist is kama-kami, whereas a spiritualist is na kama-kami. Kama is common in both. This is important to note. It is not that a spiritualist is not attacked by desires, material desires. The desires come up to the brink of even liberation. Liberation to desire to get liberated from this material world is also a desire. Of course, apart from that, in the material world, the highest desire is said, adirasa, is sex life. All other desires are subordinate to that. But the highest desire to come out of even this material life and attain liberation, that is the highest desire, and that is also called kami. One who desires such thing, he is also kami. That is explained nicely in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. कृष्ण भक्त निष्काम अतएव शांत भुक्ति मुक्ति सिद्धि कामी सकले अशांत. मध्य लीला 19 chapter 149th verse, Chaitanya Charitamrita. So Krishna Bhakta Nishkam. Krishna Bhakta, a devotee of Krishna, is Nishkam. He does not have any material desire. Ataeva Shanta. Therefore he is peaceful. Bhukti, Mukti, Siddhi Kami, Sakalya Shanta. So there are three kinds of people who desire to fulfill desires. Bhukti Kami. Bhukti means ordinary sense gratifiers. They just want to be a materialist. Ordinary karmis. Then there is Siddhi Kami. Those who don't want mediocre materialistic life, but they want very grand in a way which is like they want siddhis, yogic siddhis. So there are Ashta Siddhi. Yogis can become perfect. A perfect yogi, in other words, can do 8 wonderful things. He has 8 wonderful mystic powers. Yoga is not just stretching and standing upside down. This is not yoga. Yoga means to attain these mystic powers. And they are Anima, Laghima, Prapti, Ishita, Vasita, what is that? Kamavasai. Then is actually listed in the Bhagavad Gita somewhere. Finish. That is finished. Anima, Laghima. Anima is smaller than the smallest. Laghima is bigger than the biggest. Anima, Laghima, Prapti, Mahima, Ishitva, Vasitva, Prakamya, yes, Prakamya, Kamavasayita. Are they 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so let's see actually what are they. The mystic processes of yoga perfection and achieve the power of becoming small like a particle, like an atom. A real yogi can become as small as an atom. Anima Siddhi. You cannot lock up a yogi, a real yogi, because he will come out. Slightest gap, not that he is put behind bars and he cannot come out. Actually, there was Prabhupada was narrating this incident during British time, British rule of India. So one yogi was captured, and because he was always roaming around naked, so the police captured him and put him behind bars. And next morning he will not be there, and nothing. No, the jail is not even tampered with the door. 3 times they tried. 3 times he went away. They did not bother to catch him again. So this is real yogi. So Anima Siddhi, he can become smaller than the smallest. And Laghima Siddhi, bigger than the, what is this, lighter than a soft feather. Oh, that is Mahima, bigger than the biggest. And Laghima, softer than a feather. So they can walk on water. Then Prapti Siddhi, they do not have to get anything and everything from anywhere and everywhere. Because sitting in one place, they can get anything. Like Prabhupada was explaining that he himself saw personally that a person, he went with his father to a person, that person was a yogi. So he was sitting and Prabhupada was I think a small boy or young boy, maybe in the teenage something, I do not remember very well. His father was there and some few other people were there. So one person in the room challenged that man, you say you have Prapti Siddhi, I want the, what is that, what leaf, I don't know whether fruit or leaf or something from Afghanistan. It is famous, I do not know what it is. I don't know if it was mango or, I don't know if mangoes are grown in Afghanistan, but anyway, so he wanted a fruit from Afghanistan. So he closed his eyes and said, okay, now it is in the next room. And then he went to the other room, there was fresh leaves, the branch was broken, fresh. And this could not be gotten anywhere near, really from there. So this is Prapti Siddhi. They can get anything from anywhere. In fact, it is said, then they can touch the moon also with their hand. So much now India is what? Chandrayaan mission. They are wanting to go to the Chandra, moon. So one, what is this machine they have sent? As far as we know, it cannot go. I don't know how they are hoodwinking everybody, but they don't even have an idea of where the moon is. According to Vedic scriptures, the moon is even farther than the sun. So that's debatable, very controversial. But somehow every country is making the story up that they are going to moon mission and Mars mission. They have no ideas where these planets are even. So anyway, so there is Prapti Siddhi. Then Mahima, to become heavier than the heaviest. They become as heavy as the mountain. There is an example of this in the Mahabharata, where Hanuman was lying down and Bhima was going on. So Hanuman was lying down on the ground, completely covering the path. And Bhima tried to, because he asked the old, oh monkey, what are you doing? Move aside, I need to go. Because it is not correct to step over somebody. So he asked the monkey to move. So the monkey said, I am an old monkey, so you move my tail and you can go. So he tried to move Bhima. He has the strength of 10,000 elephants. And he tried with his greatest strength. He put everything into it. Not even a millimeter it moved. And then he understood who is this monkey. So then of course Hanuman revealed himself that he is a servant of Lord Ram. And also both of them are Vayuputra, son of the wind god. So of course Bhima was very happy to meet his elder brother from another age. He is the Dwapar Yuga. Hanuman is from Treta Yuga. So these are some of the examples. Angad feet also. Angad, yes. Angad feet could not be lifted. The Rakshasa could not even match Angad. What to speak of Sugriva, what to speak of Hanuman, what to speak of Ram, Lakshman. Ravan was no match for even Angad. Angad was son of Vali only. To act freely, even to create something wonderful or to annihilate anything at will, Ishitva. So I think Vishwamitra Muni, he created a planet And also we have example in the Srimad Bhagavatam where Kardama Muni, he created a aeroplane which will travel in all over the universe. And the aeroplane is not like, you're sitting down in a cramped seat and your head is going this way and that way and you have neck pain after the not this kind of. And first class seat, business class seat is just a little bit wider and that's it. No, this was a plane in which there were palaces, there were gardens, there were lakes, there was maid servants, everything beautiful, all birds, everything within one capsule. And that aeroplane was going everywhere, all over the universe. They were going, Kardama Muni and his wife were going sightseeing, enjoying all the gardens of the universe, in different planets, different gardens. They were enjoying like this. Just at will. Where was Kardama Muni when he was, Devahuti, he was married to Devahuti. Their son was Lord Kapila, incarnation of Krishna. So, Devahuti was a princess, daughter of Swayambhu Manu, very great princess and very beautiful, very delicate, only used to royal opulence, never had a life of hardship. But her father, Swayambhu Manu, gave her in marriage to a Muni who was in the forest, who had a hut which had holes in it, the rain could not be stopped. This is the kind of Muni he gave that princess to. He had no possession, Kardama Muni, but he was so powerful, mystic power, that he could create such a planet. Because actually, how it was created, because after marriage, he was doing his religious duties and everything, and she was assisting him, although it was not at all comfortable for her. She was trying all her best. After a few months, he saw her very lean and thin and pale. Then he took compassion upon her. Okay, fine, let's go on some joyride. And he created one plane. And he took her. So like this. And they travel for not just, like a 7 hours flight and you are dying when to get down, No. They went for 100 years. 100 years they were going. And landing on different planets, different gardens, enjoying there. In the plane itself there were gardens and palaces. Just imagine. Don't think that, they were cavemen. Oh, he was sitting under a hut, useless fellow. Loser in life. Because he could not make it in the city, he ran away and sat in the forest. Loser, loafer, nothing to do, so he just became a Tarzan. No. This is actual, because they value what is actually worth pursuing in life. They don't waste time. There is a nice example of Lomarsha Muni. You must have heard. So Lomarsha Muni is a Muni, a sage, who has one exceptional quality. His lifetime is so long. Usually the person longest lifetime in the universe is Lord Brahma. So when he dies, the whole universe is also finished. The lifetime of the universe is the lifetime of Brahma. But this Lomarsha Muni got a special benediction by which when a universe finishes from creation all the way to the destruction, which is about 311 trillion 40 billion years. So Brahma dies. So when one Brahma dies, one hair from his body will fall down. Like that, when all the hairs of his body fall down, then he will die. This was Lomarsha Muni. He is still there. So one time he was meditating or chanting Hare Krishna on the bank of on the beach, on the shore of the ocean. So he had no cottage, nothing. He was just chanting, and it was raining and all that. And Narad Muni was passing by. He said, "My dear Lomarsha Muni, why don't you at least make a cottage? Heat of the sun, the rain and everything. How are you going to manage? Like this." Then Lomarsha Muni said, "How can I waste time building a cottage? That time can be used in chanting Hare Krishna." Jai Krishna. Because his life is so short that if we waste time building a hut, that time could have been used for chanting Hare Krishna, that time is lost forever. This is one thing. The devotees, they are misers when it comes to time. They don't want to spend. Anyhow, they will want to spend only on Krishna Seva. Avyartha kalatvam. They don't want to waste time. This is the sign of a spiritually advanced person. That's why Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, a devotee must always have a watch. He said if a devotee does not have a watch on him, he is in Maya. Because he does not know how much time he is spending. So he must be conscious of how my time is being used. So anyway, so Ishitva, that is, and he can annihilate anything at will also. So, to control all material elements, Vashitva, that means they can defy the laws of physics, laws of chemistry, they can do many wonderful things. There is, Prabhupada was mentioning, this method by which a yogi can create gold. So, alchemic process in which bell metal can be turned into gold. So, what they do is the yogi, he will first take mercury. If ordinary person takes mercury, he will die immediately. But a yogi takes mercury and then keeps it overnight. And next day he urinates on the bell metal and the bell metal will become gold. So this is another
chemical reaction.
Yes. But so some of the devotees asked Prabhupada, so why not we make like this, because they do not know the process first. So because Prabhupada said Diksha Vidhanam, there is a verse also from Haribhakti Vilas. So it is said that Diksha Vidhan, the initiation process is like compared to this process where a yogi can turn bell metal into gold. Similarly, a completely sinful person by the process of Diksha, initiation, even though he may be sinful before, he can be turned into gold like devotee. So the purification. So the example was given. So one of the devotees asked Prabhupada, we can see the verse actually. You see this one. Yatha kanchanatam yati kamsyam rasa vidhanatah tatha diksha vidhanena dvijatvam jayate nirnam. Sanatana Goswami. As bell metal when mixed with mercury is transformed into gold, a person even though not golden pure can be transformed into a brahmana or dvija simply by the initiation process. Haribhakti Vilas, 2nd chapter, 12th verse. So this is the verse. So Prabhupada disciples, they asked him, so why not, if there is a process like this that from mercury, bell metal and then make it gold, why don't we create that gold? Why we collect our donations outside and let's create gold and build temples like this? And Prabhupada described the process and they said, never mind, we will collect donations. So this is important. So prakamya, possess such power as will never be frustrated in any desire. That means they can, if they want to do something, they will definitely make it happen. The demigods have this power. This was explained when in Mahabharata, Kunti, she received a benediction because she served Durvasa Muni. She served when she was a virgin girl. So she served Durvasa Muni with great attention and respect. So Durvasa Muni became very pleased with her and said, he gave her a benediction, he gave her a mantra and said, you chant this mantra and you can invite any demigod to have sexual union with you at any time you wish. So this he gave her. So she was an immature girl, not married. Then she chanted the mantra just to out of curiosity, out of excitement. She just wanted to try it out. And then she chanted the mantra and invited the sun god. And he came. Then she was horrified because she was not married. And if her virginity is gone, then she will, nobody will marry her. And big social stigma and then all these things. So what to do? She was horrified. So she asked the sun god to go back. And sun god said, we demigods, we work differently. Once we have decided to do something, we will never take our word back. We will never go unfulfilled for the reason we have come. So that is prakamya siddhi. Their attempts will never be will never meet with failure. So then he said, all right, I can do one thing. I must, because I have come for this, you have called me. And he also said this, if I go back without fulfilling my mission for what I came, then I will be a laughing stock in the heavenly planets. So you see how much the demigods, if they came for one reason and they did not do it and for some reason failed and went back, they will be ridiculed. And so they will never accept it. So he said, no, I must have sexual union with you, but I will restore your virginity back after this. So then that's how Karna was born. This was the story behind Karna. Then, to assume any shape or form one may even whimsically desire. See, kamavasayita siddhi. Even in fact, another part or another aspect of kamavasayita siddhi is also to control other people's minds. They can influence them just by their yogic power and get them to do something that they desire. And also you see, they can assume any shape or form one may even whimsically desire. This is how we hear so many times they say mythology. It is not mythology. This was fact. These were yogic powers. When a yogi becomes, changes his form. These stories are there in our Puranas and all that. Hanuman changed his form. Even Indra changed his form. Of course, he used for ulterior motives to have sex with Gautam Muni's wife. He also did that. So these things are there. Kamavasayita. They can assume any form. So all these, even the demons had forms. Like Putana, she changed her form into a beautiful maiden when she wanted to kill Krishna. So she was a horrible looking demoness actually. Nobody would go near her. But they changed their form. Surpanaka also is an example. Even women had that power. Usually yogis are all men. They go to the forest and do this. Another important point is Gandhari. She had all these mystic powers just by being chaste to her husband. Very faithful to her husband. She had attained all these siddhis. All these experiences are as common as natural gifts for the inhabitants of those higher planets. They do not require any mechanical help to travel in outer space, and they can move and travel at will from one planet to another planet within no time. Inhabitants of the earth cannot move even to the nearest planet except by mechanical vehicles like spacecraft, but the highly talented inhabitants of such higher planets can do everything very easily. So what we are struggling to do for the demigods is a totally different ballgame. For them it's nothing. They are born with these things. So anyway, so this is real yoga. So these, see how wonderful these descriptions. So if one is attracted to these things, it is actually a distraction. The point is, even if he attains all these things, he will still be not peaceful. Still he will not be peaceful. Bhukti, mukti, siddhi, kame. We have touched upon bhukti kame, ordinary material sense gratifiers. Then siddhi, this is siddhi kame, one who likes these things.
So this is classified under black magic?
No. So see siddhis, these perfections can be achieved by practice in the mode of goodness and practice in the mode of ignorance also, and practice in the mode of passion also. For example, Facebook or social media, they are keeping you on those screens. They are controlling your desires, controlling your movement. This is by way of Rajogun, a big artificial intelligence, psychology experts, machinery, gadgets and all this way. They are doing somewhat similar thing. By mode of ignorance, they have worship of, those ghosts and spirits. They also kind of do partially. From the mode of goodness, these powers exhibit the most power.
So this is not negative, it's positive.
Yeah. Siddhikami is, we are talking about yogis. These are all exceptional powers. Yeah, these are not black magic. But black magic also you can have some of these things to an extent. Not to the extent where when you do actual real yoga. So these appear wonderful, but if one wants to do these things, then there is actually a contaminated. In fact, for a devotee it is said, Narad Muni explains in the Bhagavatam, I actually forgot the verse number, that a devotee, before he achieves pure love of Krishna, he is awarded all these 8 yogic perfections. Only if he is completely unattracted with these things will he be rewarded with the devotional service to the Lord. If he is even slightly attracted to these things, finish. His advancement to devotional life is stunted. He falls down. So all kinds of tests are put before one can actually achieve to the complete purity of devotional service. In other words, a pure devotee of Krishna already has these 8 mystic perfections.
Was against that black magic guy.
Bishaki Sen. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, yeah. He could easily counteract the power of Bishaki Sen, who was a great yogi, by black magic. That's a long story, so it's another day. But so a pure devotee, even another example is Durvasa Muni. That was not black magic, but white magic. So he offended Ambarish Maharaj. Ambarish Maharaj was an ordinary king. He had no experience in yoga, nothing. But he was a pure devotee of Krishna. So a pure devotee has all the powers because the Yogeshwar, who is Krishna himself, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna Yatra Partha Dhanudharaha Tatra Srir Vijayo Bhautir Dhruvanitir Matir Mama. The last verse of the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that wherever Krishna is there, so a pure devotee, Krishna is always there with him. So even though you may say, what pure devotee, what power he has, nothing he has, but Krishna is there with him and Krishna has all the powers. And if somebody wants to disturb the devotee, then Krishna will use his powers and defeat that upstart. So Durvasa Muni was defeated. He wanted to curse Ambarish Maharaj. He wanted to finish him. But Lord released his Sudarshan Chakra. And Sudarshan Chakra was so blazing and Durvasa Muni was running so fast. Running means not like this, running like Usain Bolt, 9 seconds in 100 meters. He went 1 year. He roamed over the whole universe. He went to Brahmaloka. Brahma said, I cannot help you. He ran to Shivaloka. Shiva said, I cannot help you. He went to Vaikuntha. Vishnu said, I also cannot help you from my Sudarshan Chakra. No, but there is your Sudarshan Chakra. No, I cannot help you, sorry. You have to go back to the Ambarish Maharaj whom you offended, fall down at his feet. If he chooses to excuse you, then this Sudarshan Chakra will leave you, otherwise you are doomed. 1 year. He did all these things and asked them, got no, got another no, then went to Ambarish Maharaj all in 1 year. And the Sudarshan Chakra was following all the way and he was getting burnt, the whole back was burnt. He was running as fast as he could. And once he fell down at Ambarish Maharaj being a devotee, he was not proud. He was waiting when this Durvasa, I have offended Durvasa Muni. He was angry with me. So he fasted for 1 year, he fasted. Until Durvasa Muni returned, he fasted. He did not eat anything for 1 year. Waiting when my guest will come back. When he came back, when he fell down, then he, no, I have offended you, not you did not offend me, I offended you. This is a Vaishnava, devotee. So once he excused him, then the Sudarshan Chakra left. So you see how Ambarish Maharaj became powerful. Durvasa Muni, biggest yogi, became nothing in front of Ambarish Maharaj. After that, because Durvasa Muni learned a big lesson there. Never did he want to again mess around with Vaishnavas. Because Durvasa Muni, he has a peculiar thing. He can very easily be satisfied, very easily be angered also. That is Durvasa Muni. And if he gets angry, if a slight thing you do is wrong, he gets angry and he will curse you and that's it. Yeah. So he is like that. So next time what happened in the Dwapara Yuga, when Pandavas were in the forest. So Durvasa Muni came to Duryodhan palace and Duryodhan was very careful. Very nicely treated him and everything and very elaborate arrangements for him and his 60,000 disciples. Everything was done nicely. And Durvasa Muni became very, very satisfied. So he wanted to give benediction. What he want? Then Duryodhan said, I only want one thing. My poor cousins, the Pandavas, they are suffering in the forest. You please go and bless them also. Just as you have blessed me, you bless them also. And Durvasa Muni said, all right. He went. Duryodhan said, finish. Now these Pandavas are finished. What? They will serve these 60,000 disciples. What Durvasa Muni they are going to serve? Already they are cursed in the forest. They will be further cursed. They will never return to this kingdom. Finish. So then they waited. He waited for the news to come. Then Durvasa Muni went to the cottage with his 60,000 disciples. And suddenly Yudhishthira Maharaj said, yes, please come. And then so Durvasa Muni said, I will just take a bath in the river. All of us will take bath in the river and we will come back. And then Yudhishthira Maharaj said, yes, I will prepare all the feast for you. Then they went and Yudhishthira Maharaj did not know what to do. Because there is nothing, what forest they are in, nothing they can do. But then he remembered, Akshay Patra is there. Because they got the Akshay Patra, the pot in which you can get whatever you want, food. But the only catch is that when Draupadi eats for the day, that's it. After that, it cannot. Only next day you can use. So he found out Draupadi already ate and the pot was washed. Now what? Now how? Actually he was first confident because he said pot is there, fine. You go and take bath, all the feast will be ready, he thought. Then when they went and Draupadi already ate by then. Then they became panicked, what to do. Then they remembered Krishna and Krishna immediately came. From where? From nowhere. From Dwaraka he just came. They thought of Krishna and he came. And he saw in the Akshay Patra, there was one small piece of shak, spinach leaf. He just took that and ate. When he ate, all the Durvasa Muni and his 60,000 disciples all became full. in their stomach. Suddenly they felt extremely full in their stomach. Then Durvasa Muni thought, how will I go to their ashram? And if I don't eat, he must have already prepared 60,000 people meal. I don't know now if I go there and I do not eat, he will be offended. Again Vaishnava offended, he is a big Vaishnava, Yudhishthira Maharaj, I better not go there. I already received one big lesson with Ambarish Maharaj, I will not go there. Or he and 60,000 disciples left from the river itself. They did not go. So the plan was foiled. So Durvasa Muni understood the power of Vaishnava. So because why? Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partha Dhanurdhara. A devotee becomes powerful because Krishna is on his side. Let's take another example. I do not know. यद्दोषुमा प्रणिहितं गुरु भीष्म कर्ण नप्तृगर्तशलसैन्धव बाह्लिकाद्यैः अस्त्राण्यमोघ महिमानि निरूपितानि नोपस्पृशुर्निरहरि दासमिवासुराणि. Very nicely Arjuna has said. Great generals like Bhishma, Drona, Karna, Bhurishrava, Susharma, Shalya, Jayadrathan, Bahlika all directed their invincible weapons against me. But by His grace, Lord Krishna's grace, they could not even touch a hair on my head. Just as the demons could not affect Prahlad Maharaj, the supreme devotee of Lord Narasimhadev, with the weapons they used against him. Devotee. He is protected by the Lord. Therefore, he can defeat any yogi. So a devotee has all the powers. Muktikami. A person who is Muktikami means he wants liberation from material life. Why he wants liberation? Because he finds the material life is very miserable. So he wants to be happy. Again, he wants his own sense gratification. He is not interested in the Lord yet. No, this birth and death is very painful. I want liberation. I want to be happy. I don't want this birth and death. This is also a desire. As long as we are within this bhukti, mukti, siddhikami, we will be ashanta, not peaceful. Krishna bhakta nishkam ata eva shanta. A person who is devotee, he has no desire to fulfill those desires which come to him. Desires will always keep coming. Maya is always there, asking, come on, enjoy me. Always inviting. But a devotee, easily, very steadily, it's not that he is, restraining himself and, taping his mouth and shackling himself just to not allow himself to enjoy material life. No, he does not need, because of his superior taste in Krishna consciousness, superior enjoyment in Krishna consciousness keeps him away from inferior sense gratification. So, actually materialists think that devotees are great renouncers, greatly self-controlled. They don't enjoy things, Actually, devotees enjoy much better than the karmis. Their life is very blissful. It is not as the karmis think, oh, he has left everything, he has, no enjoyment, nothing. They cannot understand that the devotee is enjoying far better than the karmis. Because why? They don't know the superior taste of devotional service. Param drishtva nivartate. So similarly, it is said in today's verse, very important verse actually. Kama kami. So although the desires may come, another example I will give you. One verse by this is Yamunacharya, who is the guru of Sri Ramanujacharya, the great Sri Sampradaya head. So here he says, Yadavadhi mama chetah Krishna padara vinde navana varasadhamanyudyatam rantumasit तदवधिबत नारी संगमे स्मर्यमाने bhavati mukha vikaraha sushtu nishthevanam cha. Since my mind has been engaged in the service of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna and I have been enjoying an ever new transcendental humor, whenever I think of sex life with a woman, my face at once turns from it and I spit at the thought. You see, the thought of sex life comes. The mind is always feeding, So, but when that thought comes, my face at once turns from it, I spit at the very thought. So he easily rejects such attractions, temptations. He is not tempted. Why? Because since his mind has been engaged in the service of Krishna's lotus feet. So by this we can control our mind. In the Bhagavatam, one important thing, although big yogis, they have these 8 mystic powers, one thing they cannot give up, desire for sex life. That is very, very hard, even for big yogis. The attraction of a woman is so hard to go against. This is the way, but a devotee, he can do it. He can do it. Here, yat pada pankaj palasha vilasa bhaktya karmashayam grathitamugrathyanti santah tadvanna riktamatayo yatayo piruddha sroto ganastamaranam bhajavasudevam. The devotees who are always engaged in the service of the toes of the lotus feet of the Lord can very easily overcome hard-knotted desires for fruitive activities. Because this is very difficult, the non-devotees, the jnanis and yogis, although trying to stop the waves of sense gratification, cannot do so. Therefore, you are advised to engage in the devotional service of Krishna, the son of Vasudeva. Vishwamitra Muni, big yogi, could not help when Menaka came. Saubhari Muni, big yogi, went underwater. Where there will be women in the water, I will go underwater, and do big yoga there. And then he saw 2 fish having sex and he came out of the water. Married 27 princesses. He went overboard, way too overboard. This is a yogi. He becomes bhogi. Become too much of a bhogi, then you become rogi. There are 3: yogi, bhogi, rogi. One who controls his senses, he is yogi. One who indulges in sense gratification, he is bhogi. And one who indulges too much, he becomes rogi. Just like, if you get too much sex life, then you become venereal disease, some AIDS you will get. Rogi. So this way, yogis actually end up as rogis because they cannot control their senses. The disease is that bhavarog, the disease of birth and death. That is our real disease. We have to come above that. We have to be cured, only possible by devotional service to Krishna. Become Shanta when the rivers in the water in the rivers come to the ocean. They keep on filling the ocean, but the ocean never becomes bigger and bigger. You get a tsunami on the land. No, you will not get. What is happening? That is the gravity of the ocean. The gravity of the ocean. That's why it is said that one should become as grave as the ocean. A devotee is as grave as the ocean. But there is a nice example given of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a very strict sannyasi, very grave, very, he will not joke around, no, he is not like that. Cracking jokes, no, he is very, very serious. But it is said, just like although the ocean is very grave and very still, and even big rivers come into it and it does not get disturbed, agitated and rise, just remain the same, steady. But when the moon comes, full moon or the high tide, the ocean is also agitated. Similarly, when the moon of Krishna rises in one's heart, even the grave ocean is agitated. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's feelings for Krishna in great agitation, in separation from Krishna, where he displayed ecstatic symptoms, uncommon ecstatic symptoms. He became stunned, he fainted, his body became so long, the joints. These are all very technical symptoms of ecstasy. So the joints, each joint, everything became so elongated that his body, when he fainted and fell, it was almost like what? Almost 10-12 feet. So long. All his joints became loose, disconnected. These are symptoms of ecstasy. Uncommon, you don't even, can't even fathom the expressions that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu displayed. If you read especially the Antya-lila of Chaitanya Charitamrita, you will think this is a mad person. What is he doing? He was mad for Krishna. And he was not at all steady. He was completely agitated, like a madman. This is not ordinary madness, not like the IMH mental hospital. No. He is mad for Krishna. In fact, so much so that in his ecstasy, he fell into the ocean with his head, like this high, eyes wide open. He was just floating in the waters of the ocean, and he was still. And the fisherman, he thought it was a ghost. He looked completely otherworldly. He did not even look like somebody in this world. That kind of ecstatic symptoms. Wild. He was wild. So these are all agitations of ecstasy because of the moon of Krishna. Very nicely explained in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. But otherwise, of course, this is Mahabhava. This is possible for Radharani and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and very exalted gopis. Usually, devotee, even though he has bhava, ecstatic symptoms, he will hide them. He will not show off that, now my hairs are standing on end, now I'm chanting, my throat is choking up. Devotee will not. He will try to hide. He will not try to display all these things. Somebody is trying to display, he is an imposter. Because he wants to be known as a great devotee. So, the point is that a devotee can control how many ever desires come. He is not a kama kami. It is not that he doesn't have the kama does not come. When kama comes, one should not become a kama kami. To desire to fulfill the desires will come. But if I have a desire to fulfill those desires, that is when I become a materialist. But when the desires keep coming and I don't have an inclination to fulfill those desires, that is the sign of advancement. And that is possible by being established. Sthita prajna. Sthita prajna means our intelligence, our mind, our soul, our consciousness should be fixed in the devotional service of Krishna. A solid platform. Krishna's lotus feet are a solid platform on which we can be completely aloof from this tides of material desires. So we'll just look at that verse before we wrap up. समाश्रिताये पदपल्लवप्लवं महत्पदं पुण्ययशो मुरारे भवाम्बुधिर्वत्स पदं परं पदं 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 यद्विपदां न तेषाम्. For those who have accepted the boat of the lotus feet of the Lord, who is the shelter of the cosmic manifestation and is famous as Murari, the enemy of the Mura demon, the ocean of the material world is like the water contained in a calf's hoofprint. Their goal is Parampadam, Vaikuntha, the place where there are no material miseries, not the place where there is danger at every step. So the lotus feet of the Lord are the boat, perfect boat. And devotees take shelter of that boat. And then what happens? The ocean of material existence becomes as insignificant as the water in a calf's hoofprint. Calf's hoof, how small it is. You put some water in that, how much It doesn't even make a difference. So it does. If the whole dangerous material world, where there is every danger at every step, not only danger in the sense that we can be killed or we can be, but also even in our advancement of devotional life, we can be attacked at any moment. We can fall down again. There is danger of falling back into materialism. So this is all very dangerous. Every step there is danger. So a devotee who has taken shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna can easily cross beyond all this. Mamevaya prapadyante mayametam tarantite. So these are explained everywhere. So any questions or comments on this topic?
Rome version, Sud Goswami is son. This is Rome version. This is different.
No. Romaharshan Sutta is different. This Lomaharsha Muni is different. So when Mataji is mentioning that Haridas Thakur is another example of a completely self-controlled person. So we have discussed that last week as well. Haridas Thakur, Maya came personally, offering all her attractions in personified form. Still Haridas Thakur was not in the least agitated. So that is the thing, a devotee is so fixed that Maya comes in the most strongest form, is not disturbed. So we have to always take shelter of Krishna, then we will not be disturbed by Maya anymore. So anything else? Not spiritual, there is no time. Spiritual world, there is no time. Not spiritual, heavenly planets time. Spiritual planet, there is no time there. Ambarish Maharaj was here. Yeah. Fasting for 1 year. He was actually fasting for Ekadasi only. He was waiting for Paran time, breakfast time, So breakfast time was going to finish. Durvasa Muni purposely he went to take bath in the river and he did not come. He wanted to wait until the very last moment. Ambarish Maharaj was thinking, I have to break my fast. But my guest has not eaten. He has not come from the bath. How can I eat before my guest? So then he asked his Brahmana councillors in the court. He was a king. What should I do? My guest has not eaten, so I cannot eat. But the Paran time is being finished. Because after Ekadasi the next day, you have to break the fast. That means you must take the grains within that window of time. Otherwise your fast is nullified. So he has to take the grains in that time. So that time the window is being almost finished. Like every Dwadasi we follow, Paran time. So what should I do? He asked. Then the Brahmanas, they told him, never mind, you do one thing, you take some water, so that it is breaking fast and not breaking fast also at the same time, so you will not be committing any offense to your guest. So he took some water. That's it. So Durvasa Muni came at that time when he was taking water, just to curse him. He wanted to find some fault in Ambarish, he could not find. So finally he waited and make him make that extreme step, and then he came. And he cursed. For that reason he became so angry. Just imagine. He purposely made this and he became angry for that. And so angry that he wanted to, one hair, and big demon game, all these things, he wanted to kill him.
You can understand all this as a God desire only. If can understand this as the Lord desire to show it to us.
Yeah, if Durvasa Muni
Muni cannot be like always caught in the wrong foot all the time. Like, such.
no, so he actually blessed many people. You know. So yeah, of course, if his name is there in the Bhagavatam, he cannot be an ordinary person. Something special. Yeah, but the example is there that what happens if we offend Vaishnavas. Whoever it is, even Bhishma Dev, he is big Mahajan, he offended to the finish. He offended the Pandavas by siding Duryodhana, he also finished. So these are all examples. So however big we are, we offend Vaishnavas. What is that verse? Ayushriyam yashodharmam lokanasisha evacha hanti shreyamsi sarvani pumso mahadatikramaha. My dear king, when a man persecutes great souls, all his benedictions of longevity, beauty, fame, religion, blessings and promotion to higher planets will be destroyed. So we cannot offend Vaishnavas. Of course, when so-called Vaishnavas do something wrong, then we have to point out. That is there. Like recently we made this video about Gaur Gopal. So some devotees are saying that you have offended Gaur Gopal, you offended great Vaishnava. You have to So where what is offense and what is not offense need to be understood by Shastra Praman. What about not speaking about Krishna? Is that not an offense? Prabhupada ordered that we have to speak strictly about Krishna and no compromise in the philosophy. So if we disobey that, that is not an offense. So they don't care whether they are offending Srila Prabhupada or not. Who is the Param Vaishnav? Who is the biggest Vaishnav? Without whom we cannot be sitting in Krishna consciousness today. So which Vaishnava is being offended now? Prabhupada offense, that is not even taken into consideration. Yeah? And somebody is pointing the mistake, asking them to correct, instead of correcting it, saying that, oh, they are doing Vaishnava Aparad. This Vaishnava Aparad is being completely misunderstood nowadays. In fact, in ISKCON it is being used as a tool to cover themselves up. The gurus can fall down, they can have sex with their disciples, they can have homosexual, they can be pedophile, whatever. Still, you cannot talk about them because they are Vaishnava. You do anything, you are Vaishnava Aparad. This is going on in ISKCON. And then how? Then the society will just rot and rot and rot. Nobody will speak up for the truth. So truth has to be spoken. Offense means when there is no mistake or no error on the part of the devotee, and if I falsely say that he did something wrong, false allegation, that is an offense. But if something is off track, I mean not just accidentally one time off track, it is like persistently, perennially off track, how is that an offense? It's a deliberate disobedience. It is not by chance, okay, one time, okay, maybe he did a mistake, fine. Not only is he doing over and over, nobody is checking him, what is going on? So, these things have to be understood in the proper perspective. So, with that I would like to conclude. So, any questions or comments further? Alright, we'll stop here. Granthiraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande.